of eyes were off the road yesterday and all on Tesla as Elon Musk set the markets aflame, shall we say, with a plan potentially to take Tesla public. We got to make some more sense of this. And to do that, we have Cathie Wood. She's the CEO and Chief Investment Officer at ARK Invest. They manage $6.5 billion. She's here with us in our Bloomberg 1130 studio in Manhattan. We also have David Kudla, CEO and Chief Investment Strategist, Mainstay Capital Management. They have more than $2 billion under management. He joins us on the phone from Michigan. So, Cathie, let's start with you. What was your reaction to this yesterday?
Well, given our research and how undervalued we think the stock is right now, I mean, the stock today is in the 370 range. We think it's worth today, if this is our bull case, we think it's worth $2,000 today if Tesla is successful in rolling out an autonomous taxi network, not even in China. We're not even including China in this calculation, because it will move from a hardware manufacturer with 20% gross margins to a software as a service provider, transportation as a service with 80% plus gross margins. And we think that it's not only going to continue to do very well in the electric vehicle space, but that investors really have to understand this is not just an auto company. This is a software and a technology company.
So, Carol, I think we have our bull.
Well, yeah. And, Cathie, that's a long-term perspective.
Actually, our 5-year, this is the bull case, though. Our 5-year price target is $4,000. Discount that using a 15% discount rate.
Okay.
That would bring us to $2,000 today. So I'm saying today.
$2,000 today. Okay.
So it's highly undervalued. You know, it's ironic, but we call ourselves, if you give us a long enough time horizon, a deep value investor.
David Kudla, come on in on this. You've been shorting this name, Tesla.
Yes, we have. When I was shorting yesterday between 3:45 and 4 o'clock, and shorting again today. So we see it differently. We do see a car company. Currently, about 90% of the revenues come from manufacturing and selling cars. A company that's now been around for 10 years. They're no longer a startup. As far as a transition to a software company or everything in the future, whether it's EVs, autonomous, robo-taxis, ride-sharing, whatever it may be, we keep stressing this. Tesla doesn't own the future. They just don't own the future. Look at electric vehicles. Honda is buying their next generation battery modules from General Motors. Japanese company buying their next generation electric vehicle battery modules from General Motors. They've already struck that deal. China is going to be very, very active. They made it a national priority to be a leader in electric vehicles. The recognized leader in autonomous is Waymo. So there is no proprietary technology that Elon Musk or Tesla has. It is going to be a very crowded space, whether you're talking about vehicles, the ride-sharing autonomous technology.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of competition, so we just don't see it.
And
I don't see it the way Cathie does.
Right. And Cathie, we've done here at Bloomberg a lot of stories about, hey, what Tesla did was really kind of wake up everybody when it came to the electric vehicle market, and everybody was a bit sleepy, so they kind of had the first mover advantage. But now you see, pick your automaker that whether it's Mercedes, the higher end as well, becoming much more aggressive about this market.
Yes, and we've had to face this question for quite some time, and we do because we focus only on disruptive innovation. We focus on it all the time. There's old DNA and there's new DNA. These auto manufacturers came out of the hardware world, and they have great hardware engineers. What they need are software engineers. Tesla is already there. Software engineers are in short supply. So we think they have a competitive advantage. But just to focus on a few things that David said, EVs, they don't own the market. They're actually doing quite a very good job. In July, they announced that they had 52% share of the luxury sedan market. Over half of the so others are coming out with EVs, and they are continuing. That's an increase in share. They also told us that their biggest trade-ins for the Model 3 over the last 6 to 7 months have been the Prius, the Leaf, as well as the Honda Civic, which was the biggest surprise to us. They're expanding the market, the luxury sedan market. People who would never have bought this kind of car before. And in terms of competitive advantage, they absolutely do have competitive advantage. Their battery, according to our estimates and our research, is 2 to 3, and our director of research would say 4 years ahead of anyone else. And you can think about this in terms of cobalt, the way they're adding silicon to the anode. They are being very creative, and that's not even and that's not even considering the marvel that their battery pack system, which lines the bottom of the car, is. No one else is doing it that way.
So, David, I only have about 30 seconds left, but I have to ask you, how much of your short is about the company and how much of it is about Elon Musk?
It's about fundamentals for the company. I think that Kathy's right. Elon Musk has been a disruptor. You've got to admire the mission of saving the planet, moving to sustainable energy, moving the industry in that direction. In terms of the engineers, there is a legacy business in Detroit and in other traditional automakers that is extremely profitable that Elon Musk and Tesla don't have to fund the next generation of flexible mobility, and that's where GM and Ford and these foreign automakers have that.
Right.
And they do have great engineers, Kathy. I know them. They've got great engineers, and they are going to beat Tesla.
David Kudla, Kathy Wood, you've got to come back at some point because this conversation, we've got to continue it. This is Bloomberg.